Hey everybody, welcome to another episode where this time we're going to talk about no sports events because they've all been canceled because of coronavirus. So I can't take you along on a trip to go and see a game. So what are we going to do? We're going to talk about what I think are 5 things that make a really good sports photo. Number 1 is action. Number 2 is emotion, the thrill of the game and what happens during the game. The third is something different. You got to look for something different. The fourth is your background. Dirty backgrounds, got to look for the right background. And then finally, know the sport. And so we're going to sit at my desk, we're going to look through some pictures, and I'm going to try to help. With those 5 tips, we're going to go through all 5 of them and come up with an idea or a theme or somehow to talk about those 5 things. So let's go to the desk. First, going through your photos when you get back from an event, you need to deliver about 40 photos between the beginning of the match all the way to the end, and then for an hour after. And for those pictures, we're looking for things like context, what teams are playing. You want to get a picture with the sport with the ball and 2 players moving towards you where you can see both their jerseys, what teams they are. And from there, you want to start looking for other things like celebrations and dejection, things like a big dunk or someone scoring a goal or scoring a touchdown. You want to get pictures of the top performers. You want to tell a story. So you want to get pictures at the beginning of the game where the players are coming onto the field. You want to get fans coming in. You want to get the great plays. You want to see everything that's going on. But you also want to see things that aren't normally part of like a sports photo that you would think. Maybe get reactions of the players talking to other players, or get something on the bench where the players are sitting arm in arm, looking at someone shooting a free throw. Or maybe you want to look at something where fans are doing the wave or something, and you want to, of your 40 pictures, you want to have 5 or 6 that are pictures of fans and things like that. The second thing I'm looking for is the emotion of the event, and so you want to get those celebrations, the yelling, then the screaming, and then dejection after a goal. Feeling like they let the team down because they let a goal score, or someone scored a basket over the top of them. If you can get a celebration and a dejection at the same time, those are the best. Sometimes, actually, there isn't anything. There's not even a good dunk in the game, or if there's only one dunk, you might have missed it because the referee runs in front of you. In soccer/football, they don't score a goal, and so there's not a lot of things to get like celebration. For those, you're looking for shots where it's a good play, or something where I like to get photos where their feet are in the air. It shows movement and it shows action, and if you can get both their feet in the air, and if you can get both players, somehow get more people. Look for things that normally don't happen. Someone diving for a ball or a slide tackle. Okay, the third thing is you have a whole bunch of photographers that are all given the same area to take their pictures. And so you need to come up with something that makes your photos unique. Something that makes yours stand out, something that's different. For instance, I like to sometimes, when the shooter or person throwing the ball, to focus on the person that is making the shot or making the play, instead of following the ball, to stay on that person, because they'll often give you a really nice reaction. The quarterback throwing a touchdown pass, they put their hands up and do the celebration. If you're following the ball, you're going to get the receiver and the other players, and sometimes it's interesting to see the reaction of the player. The fourth thing, I like to make sure that you're aware of your background. Oftentimes you're given an assigned area where you can shoot, but if you can, you want to move so that the sun's in the right spot, or you don't have a really busy background. The other thing I like to do is try to position myself so I can get a shot, and also provide some context, like a sign. Championship game, I like to get the championship logo in the background, or at the X Games, you get the X Games logo in the background. if you have a bad background, is to shoot tight and then crop tighter. It's good to show the height that they're actually going out of the pipe for snowboarding, and skiing. You actually see how high they're going, as opposed to if you're cropped in tight, you don't have that feeling of how high up in the air and how actually cool it is. Finally, number 5, and that's to know the sport. Things like gymnastics and skateboarding and snowboarding, half pipe, they have a routine, and you know the routine of the athlete. Then you know when they're going to do a certain thing, like a spin, or where they're going to do a grab on their snowboard, and they're really going to open up and you're going to see their face exposed. When they spin, it's very difficult to get a good shot. You can't tell with a still photo what they're doing when they're just in a tight ball spinning. Shaun White, that can do these tremendous athletic feats of 1280s and just incredible height. You don't see it when they're spinning so quickly. Once you get to know the athletes, then you know that I need to move over here for this athlete. For gymnastics, you know that when they're on the parallel bars and they do their final dismount, sometimes they're going to be facing one direction and then other athletes are going to be facing the other. And so you kind of need to know which athletes are going to land where, and you try to position yourself where you're in a common spot for most of the athletes. That's similar for baseball. If you have a lineup of all left-handed batters, then you probably want to be on the third base side, so that their body and their numbers and their batting stance is facing towards you, as opposed if you had 6 right-handed batters, you would want to be on the other side. Otherwise you're going to be getting their backs. There's always advantages for any position you get, so try to look for those. I think with these 5 things, you're going to have really good sports photography, and I hope this is helpful. Like and subscribe.